Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming back. Today's another episode where I talk about the book, my book idea. I'm trying to figure out. I've had a pretty interesting week of understanding more and more of what I'm going to be doing, right? So let's jump into it. So, my idea this week, I've been taking a YouTube class, right? So, YouTube is really good at putting your information out there. It's basically like an infomercial content hub, a learning environment, right? So as I've been figuring out my YouTube channel, I've been figuring out my book, right? Because I've been figuring out all the things I want to talk about on YouTube, create videos about, explain to people, help people understand. So it's been like, in a way, in the back of my mind, been helping me figure out the book idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just keep going back into, like, I have this Evernote file that I keep, working in, and I'm going to look at it. So in a way, this once a week is forcing me to work on my book more. Before, I was writing a little bit every week and every day, and it wasn't. I don't feel like it was moving as along as fast as now. I spend an hour a week, a full hour on video figuring it out. So hopefully in a few months it will be done. We'll see. So where am I with it? Let's open up the file. So, all right. So here we are. All right. So there you go. I'm going to share my screen so you can see this. And then I'll talk about the stuff I've been learning this week, which has been pretty exciting. I'll be honest. Like, all right. So let me take my big ugly face behind that off. Okay. So this week, I've been getting more of an understanding of my why, right? So the reason I do all this stuff, and it's been from creating all this content, people reaching out, asking me questions, telling me what they think will help people connect with what I want to do, right? Basically, at the core of what I've been wanting to do is I want to figure out how to get as many people to have their ideas become reality. Core of it. So the name of the book was going to be Great Idea, Now What, right? So the reason for that, let me see, can I zoom this in? The reason for that is I want to figure out how to help people figure out their ideas, right? So with me, what I've been figuring out, and this came from a conversation with a person that watched my content, what I really want to help people do is clarify, plan, and do whatever it takes to make their idea happen. Clarify their idea, show them how to plan their idea, and then show them how to do their idea, right? So clarify, plan, do. Because at the core of all of this, is I believe we've never been in a better time to create your own opportunities, right? Like right now, I did a video last week where you can create an online store for absolutely $0, sell products and everything. Try to see what people will buy for $0. So you can make a t-shirt company, a furniture company, a gadgets company, a sticker company, whatever it is. Test it out. See if people will want to buy from it without spending $1. So that's just one of many, many, many things I see that I want to create content around. And I want to make a book that people read and say, okay, if I had a good idea, what would I do? So that's where this book comes from. But one of the key learnings that I learned this week is what I really want to help people do is create their own opportunities by helping them clarify their ideas, plan their ideas, and do their ideas. So now if I look back at my book, what I've written so far under that premise, now I want to start seeing what could I do. So I'm going to start looking at the book from that perspective. So, okay, great idea. Now what? Forward. Big names that maybe one day I can get to write the forward. So my story, that of course that still stays the same. The big idea, maybe I start more with the clarify, plan, do here, right? So maybe the way I break down the sections is clarify. So that's where you got the big idea, how to know it's a good idea, how to start. So maybe how to start is plan. So ideas take time, unfortunately. All right. Plan, okay. Some of this could be do. So raising money could be do. Safe note, what to think about, mentality, habits. So I guess this is plan. This is still plan. Who creates? How do you get the cost? So this is still plan. All this is still plan. All right, do becomes here. Start with why. All right, so do. All right, so there you go. This is a big step already for the book, I think. So I got, oops. So okay, this is the do section. This is the plan section. So this is the clarify section. All right, so clarifying the idea. This is where you would think through what it is that you are going to do, right? So here I have, whether you have an idea or you want to come up with one, there's a mindset that's okay, that's the mindset thing. How to know if it's a good idea. Okay, so that could be clarity. How to start. Ideas take time and money. Could that be? Unfortunately, the time is writing, speaking. Should that be in clarify? Probably. Yeah, you know what? Probably all of this is in clarify. So all this is in clarify. Okay, in clarify, I would be talking about and clarify, I'll be talking about how to start, what to think about, right? So if we go back to this hot dog idea, which is hot dog Uber, which is right now the current idea that I'm going to take from start to finish. And I'm going to start by saying, okay, let's say you had an idea like creating this hot dog idea where you could deliver hot dogs instantly to anyone who wanted a hot dog anytime, right? 24 hours a day. Okay. I'm not sure if it's a great idea. We could change it, but the idea is any idea, we would start and we say, okay, the first step is, who is this idea for? So you see, I may need to pull some of this stuff up. Start with why probably should be in clarify. Makes sense. Okay, so how to start. So start with why. Plug the book. If you haven't read the Start with Why book, I highly, highly suggest you do that. So Start with Why is a book that basically teaches you how to look at why you do things and create a message that draws people into that same why because they have that same why, right? So for instance, if we created Airbnb, so Airbnb's why is you want to travel more, but you don't want to spend as much because hotels could be expensive. But if you were able to travel more because the expense of the hotel was cheaper, you would Airbnb. I've Airbnb. I have Airbnbs, right? So my why with Airbnb is I think more people would travel if it costs less to go places. So I believe in that why, and I do it myself, and I own them. So that's a process that I bought into that why. And it's not like they told me that, but the app, as soon as I saw it and I said, wow, this is interesting, I can go, like one of the first times I used it, I was going to a conference, and the conference was in Miami. And I was like, man, it's going to cost me like $200 a night at a decent hotel, $100 a night at a shitty hotel, or $50 a night to stay on somebody's couch. And the person who I was going to stay on their couch was a business person. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll network, sleep on the couch for $50 for 3 days, save like $600. That's the way to go. I did it and I loved it. And I was like, all right, this is the way to go. And now most of the time I travel, I use Airbnb. Unless it's speaking engagements where they pay for the hotel for me. So starting with why is a huge, huge part. Why are you creating this app? How does it connect to you? Why that's important too is when you're raising money for your idea, you have to connect the why. You are the best person to solve this problem for investors. Because if I'm an investor, let's say I woke up to you for this hot dog idea, and I'm like, look, I have an idea where we could sell hot dogs to the public 24 hours a day. You may think it's a stupid idea. But then if I tell you, well, my dad had a hot dog stand for for my entire young life, and I saw the power of him being in the street to create his own opportunity, back to my why, to make money for the family. He was able to control his own time, control his own hours, control how much money came into the household because he had his own cart. This is all I've been. But if I said that, wouldn't that make you a little bit more interested in me making this idea? Because you'd be like, wow, this guy knows the industry. His dad did it. He knows the ins and outs of it. He's figuring out how to evolve it. So, and he's looking to help people create their own opportunity. That starts to bring back my why and make sure people understand that I am the best person to do this, right? So if you start to connect your why to the app idea or whatever idea you have, it will help you bring in investors, clients, customers, partners. Because if the why connects enough, then they buy in. So you want to start with the why. One of the worst things you can say when someone asks you who is your idea for is to say it's for everyone. So you need to start with the personas, why you're creating this and for who you're creating it. So in the episode before, I did create 3 personas. I didn't put it in here, but I think I remember them. Let me put them in here now. So we're gonna say there was Joe, who was a Hispanic male. I think it was age 28 to 35 or something like that. So if you didn't see the last video about this, is in episode 3, the book episode. So I do them every Wednesday. So it'll be the 5th, 35th episode. So if you want to go back, it started with the 25th episode. This is the 30th episode. Actually, I think it started with, whatever. Go back and look. They're labeled book episode. So why you do personas is it helps you to think about who you're creating this idea for and why, and then it helps you get them into your app. You can't make an app for everybody at first. Facebook didn't even do that. Facebook started out just targeting college kids, right? College kids at college. You literally had to have a college email to get logged into Facebook. So they tested with that community. They knew that those people, if they became friends at Facebook age and they followed each other throughout their lives, Facebook can use that to grow and grow and grow. So they started out with college kids, only college kids. And then when those first few college kids got out of Facebook, they started out of college, they opened it up to their families. So then their families would come in and log into Facebook to see what's going on with their kids and their, people getting married, people having kids, all that kind of stuff. So even if Facebook did not start with everybody. So the way I was thinking about this idea, this hot dog Uber idea, is I would start out with a Hispanic male. I just, the Hispanic male was watching as I created the persona, and we were talking about it. So Hispanic male. Then I believe I did a a Asian male, I believe. Yeah, I think I did an Asian male, and I think I forgot his name, but I'll go back and look. Asian male, and I think he was a little older. I think it was like 35 to 45. So another reason to do this, and then I did a woman, a white woman. And I think she was. I think she was younger. I forgot. I think maybe 22 to 29, something like that. The reason to do this too, if you didn't watch the last one, is this helps you the whole way. It helps you figure out how to advertise to these people. It helps you to figure out how to figure out where they are, what they're doing. Because okay, let's say if I said Hispanic males, I'm targeting Hispanic males to join my app. Then I look up other things that Hispanic males from 18 to 20, from 28 to 35 do and go to put my ads and and go to festivals and stuff like that, because then it will get me the most bang for my buck to draw in people to my app. So you want to create these owners. You really want to start normally at least minimum 3. Okay, so when you say clarify the idea, when I say that now, I guess what I'm thinking about now is, okay, how can you make the idea easy to understand? All right, so I'm going to put that in here. How can I make, something along. How can I make my idea easy to understand? So if I clarify my idea, it's not just clarifying it for myself, it's clarifying it for potential investors, clarifying it for potential partners, clarifying it specifically for customers. So if I told you we're going to play around with this hot dog idea, why am I creating this? How can I clarify the idea? The easiest way to describe it is, I want a way for people to be able to order a hot dog or hot dogs from anywhere at any time and get them delivered to their house. Why? Why do that? Because I believe there hasn't been anyone to do it, and the hot dog industry is X amount of money and whatever. There's all kind of hot dog carts right on the streets. They make X amount a year. I would do that research. I would say, and imagine if the cart didn't have to go home at once it was nighttime, right? Which is what they end up doing. And then I would look at any hot dog stores like Grace Papaya, Nathan's, and figure out all those numbers and talk about hot dog consumption, all that stuff, right? You would figure out all that data, and you would say, but there's a huge gap in the market where if I'm home and I want one, I can't get one. And if they're doing that well during the day and with these stores, wouldn't it make sense that some people can get them from their house? Sure, you can order from Grace Papaya, Nathan's if you live by one. What if you don't, right? So now I'm selling the idea. I'm clarifying the idea. So everybody who now listens says, I kind of think that's true, or I don't. Not everybody's going to believe in your idea. And actually, you don't want an idea that everybody believes in. Like there's a book called Crossing the Chasm that is very, very dense, but a lot of venture capitalists and startup founders recommend it. So I started listening to it, because I listen to books. I don't read them. So I started listening to it. It's very, very dense. But one of the big things that I got out of that is he says, you don't want an idea that everybody likes. And I was like, well, interesting. He said, you want people that feel so strongly against the idea that they question what you're doing, and it helps you think through more. And that was super interesting. So I got to get back to that book, but that's just something I thought about right now. So, okay, how to make the idea as simple as possible to speak about. So if you're just coming in, I'm figuring out my book. I'm working on the book live. You see my screen. I'm thinking it through. I'm talking my ideas out, because what I'll do is I'll transcribe all these video files, and that will be the start of the book, right? So I'm writing, but I'm also speaking. So once I take the writing and the speaking text, it should create a nice chunk of my book, and then I can just, edit it away. So how can I make the idea as simple as possible to speak about? How can I make the idea as simple as possible to speak about to potential partners, customers, and investors, right? So first step is that you need to be able to say in a concise sentence what it is you're doing this for. I mean, what is it that you're going to do, who you're doing it for, and why you believe it's a great opportunity. So, what is the idea? Who is the idea for at first? Why are you doing this idea? Okay. So, again, making progress, feel good about this. So, okay, whether you have the idea or you want to come up with one mindset, I don't know if this goes here anymore. I think this might now go into, I don't know, it's a big idea. Maybe plan. Now this should go in plan. So I wonder if is anybody watching? Can you see the text on the screen? Is it big enough that you can see it? Please let me know that if anybody's watching. You can give me a comment and let me know. Can you see the screen? Can you see the text on the screen as you watch? Because if not, I maybe don't show it. Okay, so how to know if it's a good idea? So we're still on clarify. Okay, so now if I clarify a good idea, what is the idea? Who is the idea for at first? This is where the personas. So maybe personas should go up here. Maybe it makes sense for personas to come up here. You know what? Let me move that here for now. Who is the idea for at first? Okay, so maybe these are like mini chapters. So what is the idea? You need to make a simple sentence. If you're just coming in, I'm making a video about me thinking through my book. On YouTube, you can actually see my screen. On YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, you can actually see my screen as I write. On Instagram, I'm just talking. If anybody wants to ask questions, I'm on for that. So how, all right, so what is idea? What is idea? How can I make the idea as simple as possible to speak about to potential partners, customers, and investors? All right, maybe I don't call what the big idea. I say, what is the big idea? What is the big idea? All right, I'll mess with that later. So, okay, who is the idea for at first? So if I talk about personas here, talking about nobody makes an idea that is, all right, so I'm going to speak about the who is the idea for at first. Nobody should make an idea for everyone, which I say that's never true on day one. I did speak about Facebook, so maybe the Facebook thing, maybe I give some examples. All right, so Facebook started out with college kids. I guess I'll do research on what were the early personas of key startups. That's a good, okay, so let's say, have an idea, hot dog delivery. Okay, I don't like hot dog delivery though. I'll be honest. I gotta think of another idea that I can create this book around. I don't know about the hot dog delivery idea. Is it good? I don't know. Is it a good way to? So okay. All right. I got some spam. That means you're doing big things when you're getting spammers. um. Okay. Facebook started out with college kids. I'll do research. So I gotta say research other startup initial personas. I'm gonna try Airbnb, Uber, the Amazon, Netflix. What are some big companies? Tesla. Trying to think of industries that people would think of. If anybody thinks of anything, let me know. All right, these people are called personas. So okay. So if I start with the personas of who is my target, why are you doing this idea? Hey, Mia. So okay, so I don't really like the hot dog idea, but let's stay there. I created the 3 personas for the hot dog idea. Why am I doing this idea? Hot dog Uber. Because I feel I gotta create this sentence. And this goes back to the initial. What is the big idea? Who is the idea for at first? And why am I doing the idea? And then that creates your sentence, your elevator pitch, your investor pitch, your partner pitch, your customer pitch, right? So, all right, so I just said it, but maybe I'll just transcribe it, but let me try to remember what I just said. Okay, why am I doing this idea? Why do you believe this is the perfect? Oh, I know how to talk about this. So I have a mentor that always tells me, he always says, timing is not everything, it's the only thing. And if you look at a lot of these startups that actually made it huge, they caught the timing really perfectly. So even the ones I'm listing here, Airbnb, they caught the timing when in 2008 the market crashed and the housing market crashed, and people were traveling and people were also trying to figure out how to make extra money. So people were renting out their homes to people that wanted to come into their cities. So they caught that timing perfectly, and it helped explode it. Uber, forget about their timing. I don't really know exact timing of that. Amazon, they caught it early in the internet. They had one of the first e-commerce sites that had books on it. They caught they caught that well. Netflix been around for a long time, but Netflix caught a good timing of understanding that we were about to go to online watching as much as possible. Tesla is another one that's catching good timing because of the eco-friendliness of where cars are destroying our planet, and they are trying to be that solution so we can buy cars that are better for the planet. So every good startup has good timing. So what you want to start with is why right now is the perfect time for this idea. So with the hot dog idea, I guess what I would say if I had to make this company up and sell it to investors, I would say we're sitting in a pandemic, right? We're in a pandemic where we can't go outside. I may want a hot dog right now and I can't get one. But what if I gave opportunity to people for them to get the hot dogs and some people to make money delivering hot dogs in the safe way from their car, social distance, gloves, masks, and now I can get that. I don't have to have a store open because nobody's going to attend it and nobody's going to go to it. I don't have to have staff there, possibly getting themselves sick, right? So you see how I can create a narrative of why right now is a great time to create this idea. And I can do this almost for any idea. The key, though, is to understand how to explain the idea, explain who is it for. So in there, I just kind of said, who is it for? It's for people that are looking for hot dogs because there's a huge market in hot dogs, whatever. I'm making this up. But Nathan's exists. Grace Papayas exists. There's a bunch of hot dog carts all over New York City, everywhere. There must be a need. People like eating them, whatever reason. So I'm saying now there's less people that are able to consume hot dogs because of the pandemic. And this is not going to change for a while. So imagine if there was an app where you can just open it up, order hot dogs, and it's the safest, most convenient way to get a hot dog. I can see that raising some money. So that's what I would do. I would basically create that sentence. So the first part of my book is going to be clarify section. How do I clarify my idea in thought and in a sentence, in a clear, concise sentence? So that's the first thing, clarifying the elevator pitch. So maybe that's where I talk about. First thing is clarify the elevator pitch. Elevator pitch. I hate that this moves. All right, clarify the elevator pitch. Who's it for? I mean, what's the idea? Who's it for? And why is the idea? Why is the idea perfect at this time? Perfect for this time. Okay. I have, how do you know it's a good idea? So I don't know if that should go and clarify, or maybe before clarify. What's up, man? So if you again, if you're just coming in, I'm writing a book live. I'm thinking it through, speaking it out. I'm going to transcribe this, plus I'm writing, and hopefully it'll create my first book. Subscribe to YouTube, all that stuff, notifications. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm always interviewing people, entrepreneurs, and I got a lot more stuff in the works. All right, so how to know if it's a good idea? I think that should go before clarify, actually. So we got my background. Maybe I'll do this as a major section. And then my background, my story as a big section. Forward as a big section. Okay, so I got the forward. Someone else writes the forward. My story, of course, I can write that out at the end. How to know you have a good idea. You have. I don't know, you have a good idea. So I started speaking a little bit more about that with the crossing the chasm. So I'm going to research in crossing the chasm, the section in the book, in crossing the chasm, the section about product market fit. So again, he speaks about in the book about, you don't want an idea that everybody just likes. You want an idea that people have some type of reservation about, because it helps you think it through. So I like that. I'll come to that. All right, so now clarify. I need to make a sentence about that. And then so clarify. So another thing, right? I'm doing this live on YouTube. So this creating content in a way, but at the same time, all of this is content for my YouTube. I'm literally going to make videos around all of this. So it's helping me in multiple ways to do this. One, it helps me to create content live right now that's going to live. I'm creating an hour a day of content, 20 hours a month minimum. So that's one way. And having my brand and my knowledge out there, going out every day, helps for anything I want to do, consulting, building mass ideation in whatever direction I would like, helping Meta Bronx. Because this is what we do. This is what we do at Meta Bronx, right? I literally help companies clarify, plan, and do their ideas at Meta Bronx every day. And then at Mass Ideation, I do that for agencies and brands, right? Same thing. They have an idea, I help them clarify it. Oh, Miguel, I would love if we could show our watch with in a way that's more memorable and will connect with our target audience of men that are a little bit older, let's say 40 to 60. Okay, so I clarify that and I say, all right, so what about if we created an augmented reality experience where they could experience the watch in 3D, in an environment, in a hologram? Love it. Why is this a good time to do this? Because this technology, see, this works for everything. This technology is so new that when they do this, they will never forget this experience, because it'll be the first time they've ever gone through an experience like this, and they won't forget the experience and the watch. And then it becomes a talking piece within itself, because a lot of times, so you see, I'm selling it. A lot of times when you spend money on a watch like that, it's a talking piece. It's art. It's jewelry. So it's more about a conversation. So imagine you buy this watch and you're able to tell people, when I first was shown this watch, they brought me to this great place, and they put glasses on me and the watch just opened, and I was able to walk through all the pieces of the watch, and they explained every piece of the watch and why Chanel and the brand came up with the watch, and agency stuff, or for when you pitch brands or a startup. So all right, great idea. Now now that I think about that, it's not only for startups. And I am kind of angling it a lot for startups, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I could talk about ideas, period. Because if you are in an agency environment, you come up with a good idea. In a way, you have to sell it to the investors who are your bosses. You could be a creative director, or if you are a creative director, to your client. Um, This makes me think of possibly changing a little bit of the way I position this book. Should I talk about the book in the environment of a startup? This goes back to the persona. So I even have to make a persona for this book, right? Who is it that I want to read this book? What do I want them? So again, I took a class a few years ago. What do I want them to know? What do I want them to feel? And then what do I want them to do? So with what I do, clarify, plan, do, similar, know, feel, do. I want people to know this opportunity exists, and it's never been a better time to create an idea that can make money. You know what? I'm going to stay away from the agency stuff, because I just think it's a whole different book like that. I shouldn't do that. I'll create content around agency stuff, and consulting, but I'm going to leave the book as just, you want to start a company. All right. How to turn your business ideas. See, so that right there alone just really helped the path of my book in a way, because I did want to leave it a little open, where it was not just business ideas. But now if I think about the personas of who I want to buy this book, I think I do want it for the business community. I want people to create their own opportunities. So again, it comes back to my why. My why is I want to help as many ideas become reality. But the real truth is I want to help as many people create their own business ideas, because it will help them create their own opportunities. That's the truth of it all, right? Because at the end of the day, right now, we're sitting in this time where people are worried. They're fearful about where things are going for them and their families. And I would love to be able to make this book possible to have people catch the tremendous opportunities that there are right now. There's ridiculous opportunities. And I want to have a book that says, okay, there's never been opportunity like there is right now. How can I take advantage of that? So, okay, great idea. Now what? how to turn your business idea into reality. I already like that. I really like that a little bit more. Again, working title. I'm putting it out there on YouTube. Somebody can steal it, but I don't worry about that stuff. If somebody's watching this and they watch all the episodes of me in my book, they might buy the book. They're more likely to buy the book. So that's my theory. I'm going to end this now. I'm going to share this on ITV. You know what? I'm just going to delete it. No. I will share it on IGTV. Book episode 4. Is it 4? I think it is. All right. So, okay. So I'm got the forward, got my story. No question mark. Definitely gotta have my story. How to know if you have a good idea. Research crossing the chasm. What else? I'd speak about which ideas you don't stop thinking about. So I talk about this all the time when I'm speaking to people about ideas, pretty much every day. Every day, people call me with ideas and text me with ideas and stuff. And what I tell them is, look, I have ideas from years ago. Still to this day, they're in my brain and I love them, but I haven't done them. Why? Because there's a hurdle in them that just doesn't make me as passionate about being able to do it right now. I tend to sometimes go back and look at those ideas and say, is that hurdle still there? Right now, the key hurdle is time, right? I have too much going on, right? So I can't go back to an idea that 10 years ago I feel like was amazing and the timing just wasn't right. And now give that to myself too. I'm learning from mentors and everybody around me that I need to start saying no more, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm limiting myself to only 3 things at a time. And right now, that is mass ideation, which is really me and my consultancy, where I help people build stuff. So it comes back to my why. Meta Bronx, which helps me help startups and young people from communities of color get into technology. Those are my 2. And then I have, so it's more than 3, whatever. I am working with a mask company called protectusgear.com because right now there's such an opportunity for masks. So it's kind of like, why not take that opportunity? And then I am working on a technology startup idea that is a little more stealth. I can't talk about it. So I'm trying to keep myself to 3, and by keeping myself to 3, I'm keeping myself to 4. And mass ideation, I'll be honest, mass ideation, the consultancy has taken a back seat. The real thing I'm replacing it with is this content. Me creating this content, the idea is all this content will create more revenue for mass ideation because more people will know about me, know about what I do, and of course try to hire me or my company to do stuff that we normally do anyway. And it was always a better way to sell the company by knowing me anyway. So I said, I'll go back on a sales strategy that's not salesy. It's marketing. I'll create content around what I'm doing, and then if anyone wants to work with me, they'll come at me and they'll hire me. Versus calling up companies and hoping right now in a pandemic they have opportunity. So I figure this is my replacement for mass ideation work right now, and I've got some mass ideation work going. I'm just not heavily pursuing more. So then if I think about this technology startup, I'm kind of thinking this book out through that technology startup in a way, right? I'm using the hot dog app because I don't want to talk about the stealth idea we're working on because the partners are not interested. But if it were just me, if it was just my startup, I would definitely 1000% be using it. Because if anybody reads this book, wouldn't it be better if the book was centered around a startup that exists and is doing well, wouldn't that get more downloads, more usage, more understanding of what that app does? Maybe more investors. Um, because I've been having very good conversations about crowdfunding. And imagine I have a book that has, let's say, 100,000 people that read it. That's amazing. That would be amazing. But now 100,000 people are more likely to invest in this idea. Now they just changed the rules. Ooh, that's a good thing. Let me see if I just learned that in crowdfunding, they just changed the rules so you can raise up to $5 million a year on crowdfunding. So that is a huge, huge difference. This could literally change the venture capital world. I just learned that this week by having conversations around everything I'm talking about. So this is where now having this information, how does this change my book? Because there might be a time very soon where you don't need venture capital. In a way, if you get attraction at a point where you have tens of thousands of people giving you $1, $5, $10 because they like your idea, that is traction, right? Now that you can go from, it was 1 million a year, you could raise in that way, crowdfunding, to 5 million a year. And then if you do it for a certain amount of time, you can go to 20 million a year raising money. That means you may not need to take bad terms from a venture capitalist. You may be able to have more power in that negotiation. It also means you may treat your idea differently. You may go for more of an understanding, letting the public know what you do and giving them that opportunity to invest early in your idea. The problem with crowdfunding is it's not available to everyone yet. It is a little bit of and I guess it's a good reason. Like, you don't want anybody to just be able to throw up an idea. You want to have some due diligence that allows people to be protected in a way a little bit, right? Because if I throw up an idea today and I'm just some person that's trying to do bad, I could just take that money and never do anything, right? I could say, "Oh, I have an idea for the first buzzword app," and you're like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. Let me give this guy $100," and a million people give me $100 or whatever. I raised $5 million. Just take that $5 million and never do anything with it. That's possible. So they have to be these like protection areas, and I am going to talk about them in the book because I am working with. I have two ones that are part of the Meta Bronx partners, Republic.co, which is probably one of the biggest, and we have a person on our advisory board who's from there, and then True Crowd, which is another crowdfunding platform, different than Republic, but very close to similar. And we are starting a partnership with them as well through Meta Bronx. So my biggest, all right, so equity crowdfunding. So we had non-equity and then equity. So crowdfunding, equity, non-equity. So just went from 1 million a year, 5 million a year, and now potentially $20 million a year. So that has so much potential impact on this industry of raising money for startups. It's crazy. It's its own whole thing. I'm going to create videos about it. And maybe there's a video I can create now because it's so new. And I know a lot of people don't know about it because I didn't know about it. And we deal with startups every day. It's a good idea. I'm going to work on that. That could be my next video. Okay, so clarify. I'm really going into the clarify today. So if you're just joining, clarify, plan, and do. That's my whole new thing. If you look at my YouTube, you look at my bios, I've been like discussing this with people and talking it out, thinking it through. And what I do is I help people clarify their idea, help them plan their idea, and then I help them do their idea. So all my content, everything I do, I'm going to try to keep it around that. The process of clarifying, planning, and doing. Okay, so clarify. What is the idea? Who's the idea for? And why is this the perfect time to do this idea? I think pre-clarify. I think I have to start with why and pre-clarify. Why are you doing this idea? Okay, perfect time. Start. I think start should be in plan. How do I start? Ideas take time and money. Mentality. I think mentality may be in before clarify as well. Possibly finances too, actually, because this is finances. This is personal finance. All right, so you know what? This is gonna go pre-qualify, pre-clarify. All right, so this is good. This is it. I'm shaping the book better. So now, if I look at it, start the book, talk about my story. How do I know it's a good idea? All right, so even this might need to go even before how I know it's a good idea. I may need another section here called, I don't know what it's going to be called. So section, I don't know what it's called, but I think there needs to be something before how do I know it's a good idea, something around you, your mentality, why you want to do this. What do you need to do to make sure you can do it? So that's where the finances, your current financial situation, how to make it better. So how can I start? What to think about? Who are you creating this idea for? I had that already up there. I think this all goes in plan. I think this will all go in plan now. I don't need this. Before the cause. All right. Oh, I already had how to start. Safe note. What to think about. How do I get costs? All right. So, of course, I gotta really like expand on it. But okay, if I said first start reading the book, tell you my story, why am I credible enough even to talk about this? Then it's about you. Who are you? All right, who are you? Maybe something about that. Like, who are you? This is where start with why. What are your habits, your motivations, your fear of failure, your fears, and how to overcome all that, because every entrepreneur has them. Every entrepreneur has bad habits. Every entrepreneur has ways to motivate themselves. Every entrepreneur has fear of failure. And we just deal with each of those things. We learn the tools to deal with those things. So I will talk about that. Then finances. Where are your finances? How can you set up your finances, your overhead, so you can make this idea more possible? If you have an overhead of $10,000 a month and you need $5,000 a month to make your idea happen, are you making $15,000 a month? If you're not, how can you maybe lower your overhead to 5,000 to have that 5,000? Or how can you make that 5,000 3,000 and get an investor for the other two? All that stuff. Okay. So who are you? How do you know? How to know you have a good idea? Now how to clarify the idea? How to clarify your idea? How to plan your idea? So what I'm gonna do, because the book, I mean, I'm not planning to get rich off this book. My core idea here is this book will get me a lot more consulting gigs, a lot more speaking gigs, a lot more partnerships with good startups that I either consult with invest into with different partners and investors and funds that I'll be creating. Find your idea, how to plan your idea, and how to do your idea. So why I bring that up though is I'm going to, because of this YouTube videos, that this YouTube class I took, and if you watch yesterday's episode and Friday's episode, you'll understand that if you take these terms, and I'm going to just do it right now. Do is going to be tough, but let's say I'll go into YouTube. I'm going to log into, I'm going to get into YouTube right now. Oh, wow. This hour flew by, but I'm going to do this really quickly and then I'll end it. YouTube. I'm going to share my screen. Wow, that was crazy how fast this hour went. But what I love about doing this is I just spent an hour on my book this week. And there's weeks that were going by that I wasn't spending time on my book. And now by setting this thing every week on Wednesdays, I spend an hour on my book. One, it lets people know what I'm doing. Two, it helps me to make an hour every day, every week that I spend on the book. So if I were to go in here and say how, so here it is. Start typing how to wait. All right, so wait. This is me already searching stuff. So what YouTube will do is it'll start to let you know what people are searching for. So if I say how to plan so it tells you my day, my life. These are all the top things people are searching. All right, how to check my plan in idea. I don't know what the hell that means. So that title may not be great. That section may not be great because everything you want to do is you want to make it as search friendly as possible so people can find you. So imagine somebody comes across this video where it starts to talk about the pieces of the book. And in the book, I go much deeper, right? So the book will have all of it. These videos will have pieces of it. My goal is 12 o'clock and I've been on for an hour. My goal is to give all this information for free if you're willing to get to it by watching all this content. But if you want a more handheld environment where you're being helped to create, to make your idea possible, that's where you'll either buy into something that I have where I have people and me handhold you, and that's what you're paying for, not just the information. There's something about just paying for information that right now I can't stomach. And I've been having conversations about this, but for me, I guess from coming where I came from, the Bronx, and knowing the lack of opportunity and lack of information we've always been kept from, I kind of want to make sure that I'm not the person that has information and is holding it unless you pay me. If you want me to work with you and figure it out with you, that's something that I can keep I can get an understanding around charging for and not feel bad about that. And then I'll create teams that you can work with. And then I'll become like the most expensive consultant, which is what everybody does, right? Eventually you get to a certain point where your time is just much more expensive. So only certain people are going to be able to afford you, but you can work within my environment of everything that I thought through and put together, and I have teams working in. So if you look at YouTube, what I'm looking at is how can I make my sections searchable on YouTube, and I'll create videos around them. And then each section will be a video, then you can read the book. So it's just all like, it'll help everything by doing that. So I think that's where I'm going to end it today. It was great. An hour flew by. That was one of the fastest hours I've done. And I'm glad I've helped another week put an hour into my book. And if anybody watched this, got anything out of it, amazing on top of that. So I guess, DM me, definitely keep the questions and the comments going. Thank you for watching. And I keep looking forward to doing this. And tomorrow I got a special guest interview. So come back tomorrow at 11 for the Entrepreneur Hour. Thank you.